Greetings, everyone. Tim Anderson here, aka Renfell, and welcome to the latest Project Dramond info dump. And today is all about session 5 of our most recent tabletop campaign playtest session. Behind me, you can see a screenshot of that session when we were just getting going. Everyone is in the tavern, waking up in the middle of the night to something horrific happening. Um, this was kind of the culmination of what we've been working towards for this first campaign. So what we're doing is we're play testing. So it's kind of like a beta test of things with the people that we have who are patron supporters and friends of the family and stuff. And we're going through this first campaign, kind of looking at weak points, how it flows, storyline plot holes. Um, looking at how some of these effects are going to work, some of the special unique rules that we have for our setting, and so on and so forth. And this session was no exception to that. But also, one of the most important parts of this session is looking at a little bit of the foreshadowing that's going on. And that's what today's post is all about. The link is below if you want to head over to Patreon and dive into this, because it is a debrief on session 5, and we're talking about some of the things that we're being witness to, because we are a little bit ahead of the chapters that have been published at this point, in the sense that we haven't actually got to the events, because chapter 6 isn't being published until later on in September. Because of the way we're doing things right now, we had to push the writing back a little bit to work on uh, branding stuff and logos and everything else. So this is the first session where the campaign got a little bit ahead of what's been published in the chapters so far. Now, for those of you who've been following along in the playtest, you might be looking at this going, okay, so this is happening, this is going on. Wait a second, what happened? This is, that girl Frida, and now she was cured, right? Like, if she was cured, then what happened? Why is it that we're waking up in the middle of the night and this has happened, and she's somehow been converted into one of these creatures, and then obviously she bit her dad, and her dad now starts to convert and change, and then her mom was coming up the stairs, that had to have been her mom, right? Like, she bit her, and but yet when Isildur's character was bit, he didn't convert, and when Firen inspected his wound, she didn't detect anything within him. What's going on there? So today's debrief is all about that. It's a theory crafting Patreon post for those of you who are invested in the lore of the story and you want to know more and you're trying to figure out what's going on. Um, that's what today's post is all about. So, for those of you who are intrigued and your interest is piqued and you're going, what's going on, and we want to know more, head on down to the link below and get involved over on that Patreon post, and we will discuss in greater detail. Obviously, as the future chapters get published, we will also be explaining things in greater detail in the book itself, but it's never going to be exactly explained. At least I don't plan on doing it that way now. Um, it's going to be a process of the characters in the books going through and researching and investigating what's going on and figuring out how to deal with this. That's also going to be part of the ongoing campaign beyond this first campaign module. So the thing we have planned basically for the campaign settings is, I think at some point we will have other campaign modules that will be created. They're going to be standalone one-off adventures, and I've already talked to a couple of different people about potentially coming on and joining us as writers and writing some standalone adventures. While my mission is going to be creating the campaign modules that are following this primary storyline. I would imagine this is going to play out in kind of like a season, but it's going to be a little bit more than that, because the idea is that the first books, and we still haven't decided if it's going to be 2 books or 3 books, but the first books are following a storyline arc. And the campaign modules that I'm working on for the tabletop campaign are also following an arc that is happening at the same time as the events in the book. And those arcs will intersect in some places, but in other places they will be separate and just happening, at the same time, so in the same timeline. But the idea is that this first campaign module, which is called Escape from Parthana, their characters will be escaping from the city. They're going to end up somewhere after that, and then the next campaign is going to pick up immediately after that, and we're going to go through the next stage of their adventures, which is going to be dealing with the aftermath of what's happened, and then at some point they're going to be going along and investigating and trying to figure out what happened, and is there a cure, and what can we do. So if you like all that kind of stuff, post is below. Click the link, head on over to Patreon. We'll see you over there, and you can theory craft to your heart's content. We'll be having greater discussions, and of course, stick around because we do have one more tabletop session. I think we're going to wrap it up in one more session next week. That'll be session number 6. So the idea here is that these campaign modules, or at least this first campaign module, was meant to be played out over the course of like 12 to 15 hours, and we're hitting it right on the nose. I told everybody between 5 to 8 episodes. Looks like we're going to be wrapping up at episode 6. There were a couple of things that they could have chosen to do, which would have extended it to 7 or 8 episodes, but we went with this option. So I felt like it worked out pretty good. And we've got some fun stuff to actually put into the campaign. And of course, all the characters who have joined in this adventure are getting their characters put into the official campaign module as NPCs, and they will be immortalized as part of joining in on this playtest adventure. So thanks to all of those folks who have been joining us. Of course, if you want to know more, don't forget to watch the other videos in the series. Subscribe here on YouTube, and don't forget to check out everything we're doing over on Project Dramond with the Patreon page, join the Discord, and all those good things. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.